We're out here today working on a project for Shimano, and I want to give you all a little bit of a peek into how we're shooting some of this video. When we pitched this idea, we had a bunch of visual effects that we wanted to accomplish, and the idea was to have the trail appearing before the rider as they're riding it. The method that we settled on to accomplish this was to first build the trail, salvage all the moss that was in line with where the trail was, keep that aside, and then afterwards we shoot the rider shredding through that section of trail, and then we put the moss on top of it and shoot the same shot again. And then we can take those things into post, layer them over top of each other, and put a mask over one of those layers to reveal the trail. Today we're going to shoot one of the last visual effects we have for this project. We're really excited to be getting this done because we've been probably at this for at least a month shooting these visual effects, and it requires pretty specific weather conditions to pull off. So right now we're looking at a set of corners that we're going to have Mark shred through, see what looks good in terms of framing, and then after that we'll just be setting up the equipment to get the shots in. I think we could do this with just a very subtle slider, like so It's not completely static. Yeah, that should look pretty sweet. So we set up a bunch of these shots on a slider just to add a little bit of parallax to them. So I usually kind of fake it first with the camera and just kind of move it through the motion that I want before I set the slider up, because setting the slider up is always a real big pain. So I like to make sure I'm happy with the shot before I go through all that extra work. So I'm trying to figure out a second angle of framing, and it's a bit tighter. I'm trying to just have a little bit of framing elements. I'm on a telephoto lens here. So just trying to have some foreground elements that are a bit out of focus. So we're gonna start laying the moss out here. We're gonna focus on this first corner and see how that goes with the moss that we have available, and if we need to supplement it a little bit. If there is plenty of moss to go around, we'll probably do both corners at the same time and shoot our two different shots all in one go. And we'll be able to put these shots in sequence, hopefully in the edit. One will be a bit wider and one will be a bit tighter, kind of like a cutaway for a quick punch in. Because the trail is so low here, we wanna sort of make it look like there's not a trail here. So we're kind of building a framework to put our moss on top of. The biggest challenge for getting these shots is the weather cooperating. We need overcast conditions so that the shots don't have any shadows or like blown out spots in them. And we need that to hold for a good couple hours so that we can get the first shot and then clear the trail, prep it all up, and then get the second shot. So we're doing this with the Kessler Crane second shooter. Overall, super awesome piece of equipment for doing slider shots. I'm invested in it specifically for this project and has paid off a lot. Really has elevated the shots. So now what we do is we set up every frame as a slider shot is like our main shot, and then we have a secondary angle set up at the same time. So we don't have every single shot moving, we don't have every single shot static. Keeps things engaging. So right now I'm just doing some testing of the slider, just trying to figure out how much movement I want, just that the exact framing is right. So like we just need right there, and then what James is doing there, and you can't see anything else. So this shot is pretty much done. Cool. And then we'll do the same thing. I guess we need a little bit on that log that's sticking up back there.
Yeah. Filling in that first belly, like raising this first berm,
that'll
saves us a ton of work because it hides.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, so.
Yeah.
Was it like right here?
Yeah, that's good. That's all we need there. You know, we're trying to blend species of moss together in a seamless fashion. I'd like to call this the Bob Moss method, after the amazing painter Bob Ross. But we're trying to just kind of create a nice gradual transition so it doesn't obviously look like there's a trail already built here. Just putting some extra reinforcement on this now. These cross arms just kind of lock the whole thing together. Okay, so we have the sections mossed that we need to moss. We're now just kind of waiting on the weather. We think we might have a little bit of a window, but there's some blue sky coming. I think we're gonna try to get a shot in the bag and hope that we get another window soon. We only need a couple minutes to really get the shots that we're trying to capture. So as long as there's intermittent clouds, it should work out okay. So we got the berm cleared, all the moss is away. We're just gonna do a quick rake and then Mark will slap pack it in just to make it look like it's that first ride of the trail. And then in between every single rundown, we'll just pack it so there's no tire marks as we do different takes and get the one that we like. We kind of do a ridiculous amount of manicuring for these shots because there's only so many of them in the video and they take so much energy to do. We kind of are like fully buffing these, cleaning off any little bits of moss. It seems kind of ridiculous, but they take a lot of work, so I might as well make them look really good. At the beginning looks a little bit slow, but the back end looks good, I think. So we're on shot number 3. We're just gonna get a few in the bag just to have some safeties in case any of them don't look good. Okay, ready? Yeah, that one looked good.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm happy with that if you're happy with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Cool. All right, let's get audio.
Okay.
So after we get the riding shots, we just get a clean audio. So we have him come through again on his bike and try to match his riding as best as possible. Because the slider has a bit of a noise to it, it just picks it up in the audio. I think we call that good. Right now we're trying to figure out what we're calling rough to buff. Same idea as the raw forest shots to a completed trail, but it's a little bit easier to execute because the trail is built. We're not putting moss on it. We're just kind of roughing it up with a rake so it sort of looks like a partially built trail, and then we'll slap pack it to a nice shine. And this is just allowing us to get more visual effects into the film without all that work with the moss. And this feature is so large, it would be pretty tough to actually moss it in. I might need a little
more
bit
dirt,
more.
probably for the very end, eh? Yeah.
And a teeny bit up there too.
Yeah.
Not totally happy with this frame, it's okay. I was hoping to, I don't know, I want this sort of blurry foreground element. You know what I think I'm gonna do actually is, I'm gonna get a fern. I think we need a fern. Whenever it doesn't look good, just get a fern. Fixes everything.
There you go. Perfect.
So cinematic, man.
I know.
This is like the best shot ever now. Oh man, look at that. Tape it to the camera.
There we go.
Hang it off the front a little further.
It's like you're in the jungle.
I know, that's what we want. There you go. Oh, there we go. I'll just gaff tape this right here. Oh, this is the frame. So we got a little huckleberry branch here. We got it gaff taped on, just creating some nice framing for this shot. So hopefully, as long as Mark hits the corner at the right spot that we've kind of framed up, this shot is gonna be that much more epic. A little bit. So it's about 2 o'clock. We started at 8 a.m. this morning. And we've got about 4 seconds of footage in the bag. We're doing good. Okay, ready?
Oh, that's sick. That's the one.
That's the one.
One and done.
One and done. I do need you to get audio though.
Oh, shit.
Now we are just gonna wrap it up for today, maybe do a little bit of testing further down. So hope you learned a little something about how we pulled this off. Until the next time, get out there, make something beautiful, and I'll see y'all soon. Peace.